Hi friends, please subscribe and like my channel.
I discovered my wife's infidelity through her fitness tracker. She insisted it was a misunderstanding until I presented the hotel records. I initiated divorce proceedings, but she fought to keep me tethered. So I walked away. Greetings, Reddit community. I never imagined I'd uncover my wife's betrayal through something as ordinary as a fitness tracker. Sometimes truth creeps in silently, between pulses and strides. My name is Ethan Caldwell. I'm 38, a tech consultant, occasional jogger, and, until recently, a married man. I met Claire at a tech expo in Seattle. She was handling PR for a company pitching to mine. She was witty, radiant, always the loudest chuckle in any crowd, the type who could brighten any room. We dated for 9 months, cohabited after a year, and wed the following year. Everything seemed perfect for a time. Claire introduced me to running. Initially, it was her plan to get in shape for our honeymoon, but we both stuck with it. We got matching fitness trackers, part couples ritual, part motivation. It became our shared hobby. We'd compare daily steps, log our jogs on the app, and even challenge each other on calories burned. It was lighthearted fun, until it turned sour. The first hint. It began subtly. Claire started taking late-night jogs. At first, I didn't question it. She said running helped her unwind after stressful work days. But something felt off. Not because I suspected cheating, but because it was unlike her. Claire disliked night runs, claiming they disrupted her sleep. She used to mock late-night joggers, calling them shadow runners. Then came the business trips. She began traveling to Boston frequently, 2 or 3 times a month, always sudden conferences or client crises. Her firm had secured a big deal, so I attributed it to work pressure. But the absences accumulated. She'd return drained, too exhausted for closeness and strangely distant. Her laughter lost its spark. It felt rehearsed, as if she were acting happy for my sake. I convinced myself it was just work stress. Until one evening, curiosity overwhelmed me. She was away on another trip. I was home watching a movie when my phone pinged. A notification from our fitness tracker app. Claire had finished a workout. I opened the app and checked the details. My gut twisted. It wasn't a run. It was a high-intensity session logged at 11:45 p.m. in a hotel. At an address in Boston, the data was specific: heart rate spikes, elevation, GPS coordinates, duration. She hadn't been jogging. She'd been active, very active, in a hotel room. I recognized the pattern. The app even noted the exact floor via air pressure sensors. She was moving in short bursts like pacing. Her heart rate surged, leveled off, then plummeted. It wasn't exercise. It was intimacy. Hotel records don't deceive. I did something I'm not proud of. When she returned, I accessed her laptop. It was easy. She hadn't changed her password. I searched her recent files. In her downloads, I found a PDF receipt for a Hilton in Boston. The same address as the tracker data. She hadn't bothered to delete it. The receipt showed a 2-night stay under her name, room service charges, a bottle of champagne, and a second guest listed as Ryan T. That name struck like a blow. Ryan was her regional director, her boss. She'd mentioned him occasionally, describing him as professional and intense. I'd met him once at a company event. He held my handshake too long and avoided my gaze. I recall thinking he looked at Claire like she was a prize. I printed the hotel records, the tracker data, and screenshots of text messages I retrieved from a sync app she didn't know was active on her tablet. Messages like, "Last night was unforgettable. I needed that." I crave your touch. Ethan's clueless LOL. I felt sick. The confrontation. I didn't yell when I faced her. I didn't break down. I waited until she returned from a trip and spread the evidence across the kitchen table. Before you speak, I said, know that I already know the truth. She glanced at the evidence, the receipt, the screenshots, the tracker data, and blinked rapidly. Her mouth opened as if to lie, but she fell silent. What? What is this? She whispered. I didn't respond. She stared at the heart rate graph like it was a weapon. It's not what you think, she said finally. Ryan and we just talked. It was emotional. I was lonely. It didn't mean anything. I chuckled bitterly. She flinched. Claire, I said calmly, the tracker records everything. You weren't subtle. You synced your pulse to betrayal. She paled. I handed her divorce papers that night. The divorce battle. She didn't handle it well. At first, she pleaded. She called it a mistake. Swore she loved me. Said she didn't know why she strayed. She sobbed, collapsed, promised to quit her job, attend counseling, anything. But I'd seen her texts. She'd called me dull and weak. I told her I was finished. That's when she turned spiteful. Through her lawyer, she claimed I'd emotionally neglected her, that I was work-obsessed and invaded her privacy. She tried to prolong the process. Your demands included half the house, even part of my consulting business. Her lawyer argued that since she supported me when I launched my firm 5 years ago, she deserved a share. She underestimated me. I had evidence, bank statements, mortgage records, proof I'd funded her student loans and started the business with my own savings before our marriage. My lawyer dismantled her claims. Then I revealed the tracker data and hotel records. They not only confirmed her infidelity, but obliterated her alimony claims. In our state, adultery heavily impacts spousal support, especially when it caused the marriage's collapse. Her lawyer fell silent. The court ruled in my favor. She got nothing. No house, no business shares, no alimony. She left the courtroom in tears. She wouldn't let go. Weeks later, she reached out again. First, it was casual. Hey, can we talk? Then it became desperate. She left voicemails, sobbing, saying she regretted everything, that Ryan had used her and moved on to someone younger. I ignored her. She showed up at my condo one night, banging on the door at 11 p.m., crying. My new partner, a longtime friend who supported me through the divorce, was there. She saw Claire and said calmly, "She lost you the moment she chose someone else." Claire screamed that I was cruel, that I'd abandoned love. I met her gaze and said, "No, I abandoned deceit." I closed the door. That was the last time we spoke. She made her choices, and I made mine. She chased thrill and power. I chose loyalty and honesty. Her heart betrayed her through data. Mine was shattered but mended. Oddly, I'm thankful for that tracker. It didn't just track steps or calories, it exposed betrayal and guided me to freedom. 6 months after the divorce, I was sleeping soundly, eating well, no longer jumping at every phone notification. I'd moved into a new downtown apartment, simple, tranquil, mine. I'd started dating again. Lauren, introduced through friends. She was steady, grounded, unlike Claire. She didn't demand attention with noise. She made you feel secure in her presence. For the first time in years, I felt I was building something genuine. Then the calls began. Not from Claire, but her mother. At first it was polite. "Ethan, dear, it's been a while. How are you?" I nearly hung up. but I was raised to be courteous, so I listened. She spoke of Claire's struggles, how she wasn't herself, how she'd made a terrible mistake. Ryan left her 2 weeks after the divorce, her mother said. He got what he wanted and vanished. She cries herself to sleep, talks about you like you're still beside her. I kept my tone steady. Her regrets are her burden. She paused. Ethan, I know she was wrong. But haven't you ever wished you could undo a mistake? I gave a bitter smile. I did. That's why I divorced her. The parent trap. Days later, her father appeared. He was traditional, a man of few but weighty words. He asked to meet. I agreed. At a cafe near my office, he was direct. I didn't raise her to do this. I won't defend it. But Ethan, marriage is more than mistakes. It's about forgiveness. I sipped my coffee. You're right, I said. But it's also about respect. Once that's gone, forgiveness doesn't rebuild the home. It just lets trespassers linger in the ruins. He stared at me, then said, She still loves you. I leaned forward. Then she should have thought of that before she got intimate in a Hilton with her boss. That ended the talk. The ambush. 2 weeks later, Claire's mother invited me to a family dinner, saying it was for her husband's birthday. I nearly declined, but I thought it might offer closure, a final farewell. I arrived. There was Claire, hair styled, dress flawless, makeup like it was our anniversary. The room fell silent. Her mother smiled nervously. I thought if you saw each other, something might reconnect. Claire stood slowly. Ethan, I'm so sorry. For everything. I stared. You orchestrated a reconciliation dinner? She nodded, eyes teary. I just wanted to explain. I wasn't thinking clearly. Ryan, it was foolish. I thought he offered something you didn't. But you were everything. I paused before answering. The worst part wasn't the cheating. It was you calling me dull while doing it. Tears formed. I didn't mean it. I turned to her parents. You brought me here under false pretenses. Never do this again. I started to leave, and she grabbed my hand. Please, Ethan, don't discard what we had. I looked at her fingers, the same ones that signed the hotel receipt. I didn't discard it. You did. I just salvaged my dignity. I walked out. I never saw them again. Lauren and I are still together. She knows everything. She never asked me to forget, only to heal. She taught me that true love doesn't beg or trap you with guilt. A year after the divorce, I ran the Boston Marathon. My tracker buzzed as I crossed the finish line. Same app, same device. But this time, the heartbeat wasn't betrayal. It was peace. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.